before the world knew him as the Spider. Anderson Silva was just a skinny kid from Curitiba, Brazil, growing up in poverty. His parents couldn't afford to put him in sports. There were no fancy gyms, no personal coaches, and definitely no spotlight waiting for him. While all the other kids were dreaming of football stardom, Anderson was learning a different game: how to fight silence and fear. Life took a turn when he moved to live with his aunt in São Paulo. The city was bigger, but life felt lonelier. It was a strict household, and Anderson struggled to fit in. He didn't find comfort in friends or social circles. He found it in the discipline of martial arts. It started with Taekwondo, then he fell in love with the striking power of Muay Thai, and finally he discovered the ground game of Jiu-Jitsu. He wasn't the biggest guy, he wasn't the strongest, and he certainly wasn't the loudest. But he had something else, an obsession with perfection. He didn't just practice moves, he studied them, refined them, and made them his own. Before the UFC came calling, Anderson was making a name for himself in promotions like Japan's legendary Pride Fighting Championships. But when he finally stepped into the UFC octagon in 2006, the critics were skeptical. They called him boring. They said he wouldn't last. They dismissed him as not being championship material. What these critics failed to see was the brilliant mind of an artist hiding inside the body of a fighter. They saw a quiet man, but they didn't see the storm brewing within. His UFC debut was against the tough and aggressive Chris Laban. The fight was over in just 34 seconds, a stunning display of precision and power that left everyone speechless. That was just the beginning. Soon after, he faced the champion, Rich Franklin, and completely dismantled him to win the UFC Middleweight Championship. What followed was one of the most dominant reigns in sports history, a record-setting 16-fight UFC win streak, 10 successful title defenses. He delivered knockouts that seemed to defy the laws of physics and showcased movements that felt almost inhuman. Anderson Silva didn't just win fights. He created masterpieces of violence. He played with danger in a way no one had ever seen. He'd stand in the pocket with his hands down, dodging punches by mere millimeters, often with a smile on his face while his opponents grew more and more desperate. Some people called it arrogance, a lack of respect for his opponents. But it wasn't arrogance. It was absolute, unwavering confidence and control. Then came the night everything broke. UFC 168, the highly anticipated rematch against Chris Weidman. Anderson threw a leg kick, a move he had executed thousands of times before. But this time was different. A sickening snap echoed through the arena, followed by a deafening silence. His leg had shattered on live television, a horrific injury witnessed by millions around the world. At 38 years old, after such a catastrophic injury, the doctors were grim. They said he'd never be the same. The media, the fans, everyone believed his incredible story had come to a tragic end. The spider's web, it seemed, was finally torn. But a warrior's spirit is not so easily broken. Anderson Silva returned to the octagon. This comeback wasn't about reclaiming belts or chasing bigger paychecks. It was about honor. It was about proving to himself that he could overcome the impossible. The results weren't the same. He lost. He struggled. The world watched as the invincible champion aged right before their eyes, but through it all, he never quit. He never lost his dignity. Because for Anderson Silva, fighting was never just about winning. It was about the expression of mastery, the embodiment of discipline, and the purest form of courage. Today, Anderson Silva's legacy is secure. He is remembered not just as one of the greatest champions to ever live, but as the man who changed MMA forever. He taught the world that fighting isn't just a brawl, it can be an art form. He proved that a calm mind can conquer chaos, and that true greatness doesn't need to scream for attention, it moves with silent, deadly grace. From the impoverished streets of Brazil to the undisputed throne of the UFC, the legend of the Spider wasn't just about trapping opponents in the cage, it was about trapping a moment in history forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more.